Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to Cover 2 Credits. We are your hosts. I am Kevin.
I'm Justin.
And today we'll be breaking down the announced movie projections for the Marvel-verse and all of their superhero movies.
Now, between the two of us, I know a little bit more about comics than you. You enjoy the movies, but that's why I thought the conversation would be interesting.
Not really a good comic book guy.
So
I hope that it'll add some interesting contrast.
We're going to hit the ground running, and they announced in 2016... the list begins with 2016 because we already know what's coming next year with Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. So this will be the beginning of the next phase 3. There are 2 movies in 2016, 3 movies in 2017, 3 in 2018, and 1 in 2019. We'll get to all those really quickly. First one is Captain America 3, but they don't list it as that. It's Captain America Civil War. Civil War is a very cool comic book arc if you would like to read something that's pretty heavily stated. It's very, and in high regard. It's a good one to read.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do this. I didn't really expect them to go that route. I mean, of all the comic book arcs they could have picked, Civil War is a little
heavy,
dark for summer blockbuster superhero movies, but it'll be interesting to see how they pull it off, definitely.
And it's the first movie coming after Age of Ultron, and the way the Age of Ultron trailer looks, there's going to be a lot of conflict.
Yeah, and probably some dead people.
Possibly. So we'll move on to the next movie. Later on that year, we've got Doctor Strange. New character, possibly Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange. That's rumored. I hope that they do cast him. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. And great in Sherlock. He was great in the last Star Trek movie. And
Smaug.
You can see they're sort of trying to move them. They're slowly trying to move out the old guard, bring in some new blood, and continue with the story. Because, I mean, honestly...
Phase 3 does that pretty dang well.
We can't have Robert Downey Jr. playing Captain America into his 60s. That's not going to work.
He doesn't play Captain America.
Yes,
so,
I mean Iron Man. He is the perfect Iron Man, though.
Yeah, I agree. So the move to 2017, and it is Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the first movie that comes in this year. I'm looking forward to this movie. I enjoyed the first one.
I didn't enjoy the first one as much as he did, but I mean, it was still a good movie. And the Guardians verse brings in some interesting... It makes a good contrast to what they're doing right now in the Avengers. I mean, they've got a lot of these darker storylines going on, especially with Iron Man 3 and Captain America 3, and they've started to add some real grit to the Avengers side of it. But in the Guardian side of it, we've still got lighthearted and we've got raccoons with machine guns and people making jokes about pelvic magic
And Groot.
And I mean, it's a lot more of a feel-good movie than the others, and that makes a good contrast while continuing down the same plot line.
I mean, any movie that makes the Jackson Pollock reference they made is a pretty good movie. So later on that year is Thor Ragnarok. I've enjoyed both Thor movies. They're not necessarily my favorite Marvel. They get a little campy. This one sounds like it's going to be a little darker, though, and we'll see. Ragnarok also, we know, means end of times. So it seems like there's a little more play and a little heavier of a aspect to it. So we'll see what that goes. What do you think?
Yeah, Thor was kind of the feel-good section of the Avengers. Although, like I said, after some of the stuff they got going on, we'll see how that ends up. But Thor is also much more of a love story than the others. And it's much more of, a purely melodrama, good versus evil sort of thing between Loki and Thor going on.
Easily best villain so far in Marvel, though, I think, is Loki.
Yeah, I mean, for all the hate that the Thor movies have gotten, I think there's still a lot there.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see him go back to the well again.
All right, and the last movie of 2017 is a new character they announced, Black Panther. Now, they've announced Chadwick Boseman's going to play him. He played James Brown in Get On Up and Jackie Robinson in 42. They've also announced that there may be a hint to him in Avengers Age of Ultron, and he will first be in Captain America Civil War. But his movie comes out in 2017. And it's one of those off the beaten path. He's not necessarily the forefront right now, so do you know much about him?
No, I mean, Black Panther's I know sort of how he feels. I always thought he was more of a What's the word I was looking for? I don't know. There's sort of like a subgroup of heroes that he's also paired with, and I know some things about him, but he's definitely not. I wouldn't know enough to make good comment, but it'll be interesting to see what they do in the movie, definitely. And I like that they're bringing in some of the heroes that don't really get a lot of they're not really as popular, and you don't see as much about.
Well, you had said before, bring in new guard, getting kind of not pushing people out, but getting ready to replace people if need be. That may be what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move to 2018 now, and in May of 2018, Avengers: Infinity War comes in, and this has been a long brewing storyline with all the Infinity Stones being in multiple movies, whether it's 3 or 4. It'll be interesting to see what they do. They've cast Thanos. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Up until then, he hadn't been casted. They hadn't casted it yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like one of the old like radio reels that they just week by week by week by week, and they're just slowly building a story. I mean, the storyline's been building up over years, and what are like 10, 12 movies now?
Quite a few.
A lot of movies, and it's slow build up, and this is going to be the culmination of all of that. This is probably going to see the end of some of the more popular characters. I have.
My wonder is, first of all, I'm wondering if we'll lose anybody in Age of Ultron. Second is, are they going to bring the Guardians into this? Because I think at some point they will. Whether they'll be a part of this movie or not is up in the air, but I'm thinking they will. The next movie, 2018 still, another new franchise. First female Marvel lead, Captain Marvel, who originally was called Miss Marvel. Now Captain Marvel is Carol Danvers in the comics, and that is the version of Captain Marvel they're bringing to the movies. Another one that you may not know that well?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I know almost nothing about Captain Marvel.
Possibly one of the more powerful heroes in this universe.
I always sort of associated her with Spider-Man for some reason. I know she's not, but...
Costume looks a little close to a couple characters of Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, well, you got, like, what's it, Spider-Man, is that what it is? It's
I know, yeah,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
but, yeah, I mean, it's, for some reason, I always put those two together, but, like I said, she's one of those characters that's in left field. You don't see a lot of her flying around anywhere.
It's good to see that they're doing a female lead, though, and surprising it wasn't Black Widow, but...
It should have been Black Widow. I'm just stating
she's
that
good
flat.
There's a good supporting character, is Black
She's a
Widow.
good supporting character, but I think she'd be a good lead, too.
Yeah. But we'll keep moving. 2018, last movie 2018, another new franchise, possibly. The Inhumans. Now, The Inhumans... The X-Men is a Marvel comic, but Fox owns the rights to the X-Men movies. So, what the Inhumans kind of bring to this Marvel universe is almost their version of the X-Men. Now, it's not the same thing, obviously, but it's going to be that's the easiest way to explain it. It's a bunch of different heroes kind of banded together, and it's going to be kind of a cool take, I hope. What do you think?
There's gonna be some of the, like the lower level street type heroes.
I don't necessarily know. It's not like the big names. You're not talking huge names. So it's gonna be kind of like second tier. You may not know.
Do they have a comic book, or this
They
just coming out left field?
They do have a comic book called The Inhumans.
Interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely way out of my depth here. So.
And to close the lineup is Avengers: Infinity Wars Part 2. Now, the way this build has been, I think it's a good idea making the Infinity Wars a two-parter. I'm wondering then if they may do something that they haven't done before and leave a huge cliffhanger at the end of the first one. And then it's a year difference, almost to the day.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them doing the Avengers half of one and then doing the Guardians half another movie. I could see that happening because honestly, putting that many huge names in one movie is going to be a colossal outlay for salary.
It's going to happen, though. And Marvel printing money.
Yeah, but...
I don't think... the only reason I disagree with that is because it wouldn't make much sense for one group to fight Thanos and then stop fighting Thanos and then the next group to fight Thanos. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that they'll separate it that much.
It could happen.
But who knows?
Why not?
Marvel can kind of and shown they do what they want to do.
Yeah, they pretty much just do whatever they feel like.
So overall, I'm looking forward to this. It sounds like they've got some awesome movies coming, some comic streams and comic arcs that we didn't think they would bring in, and they are with Civil War at least. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much darker arc for Marvel, and we'll see how it ends up. And, thanks for tuning in, YouTube. That'll pretty much do it for this.
Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like. Let us know what you think of these movies. If you want to hear us talk about any one of them in a little more detail, let us know. We'll do some research. I can bring what I know about the comics toward that. Other than that, thank you very much.
And thanks for staying until after the credits.